Hello friends, welcome to the Manthan series of BFM. As you know, in Manthan series we are covering all the compulsory subjects of CAIB, all of them. Numericals, objective questions, case studies, theory, all the points are covered. So follow the series completely, share it with your friends, like this video, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell icon. Don't miss this, okay? Clicking on the bell icon will help you how? You get everything free over here on this channel, JAIIB CAIB English Medium. Subscribe. You'll get everything free. And many important questions, recollected questions are covered over here. So that's why follow this. Today, the topic is Basel III framework for liquidity standards. Basel III. Now you know the importance of Basel. Basel 1, 2 and 3. Nowadays we are in Basel 3. So I'll be covering this. Follow the video till the end. In the end, I'll be covering very important numerical, very important, which was asked in June 25. Which was asked. It was asked in June 25. I'll be covering that in the end, but follow. Let's start. Which of the following is not one of the three pillars introduced under Basel III? Not. Kindly note the question. Focus on the question. Not one of the three pillars. Minimum capital requirement, supervisory review, market discipline, counter-cyclical buffer. Not one of the three pillars under Basel III. Same thing is there in Basel II also. See, understand the difference between Basel II and 3. Basel II and 3 are frankly same in terms of the names. Only one word is added. In Basel II you have this, I'll just write the short form now. Minimum capital requirement, MCR, then supervisory review, SR, and market discipline, MD. Pillar 1, Pillar 2, Pillar 3. Okay, Pillar 1, Pillar 2, Pillar 3. And in Basel III you have same thing, but only E is added, enhanced, and same MCR, then SR, supervisory review, and this MD. Okay, market discipline. Everything is enhanced. That's the only difference. What are the pillars of Basel III now? Which is not the pillar? CCB, counter-cyclical buffer. That is not a pillar. That is a part of the ratios which RBI prescribes. There are two ratios. One is CCB, okay. Second is triple CB, okay. Capital conservation buffer and counter-cyclical capital conservation buffer, CCB and triple CB. So these are the ratios prescribed by RBI. CCB is 2.5%. CCCB is also 2.5%. But CCCB is introduced by RBI in case of absolute liquidity, means heavy liquidity is there. Then RBI will come up with CCCB. This one. But up till now, RBI has not introduced CCCB at any time, up till now. And CCB is what? Capital conservation buffer. So this you already, this is not the one. Capital conservation buffer, that is 2.5%. That is added to every CRAR. Here, CRAR is like this. CRAR plus CCB. That is the basic rule. So 9% as per RBI plus 2.5%. So it is 11.5%. So which is not? Counter-cyclical buffer is not the pillar. Okay. What does CAR stand for in context of Basel norms? CAR. Now see this. Various books call this various names. Somebody calls this CAR. Somebody calls this CRAR. Capital to risk weighted asset ratio. Somebody calls it Cook's ratio. Cook's ratio. Okay. All these are same names. CAR stands for what? Check this. I'll give the full forms of all the three. In fact, third one is not required. Cook was the name of that person. What is CAR? Credit availability ratio, capital adequacy ratio, capital current asset ratio, and cash advance ratio. So what is the answer? It is in Basel norms. It is capital adequacy. The other name to this is CRAR. So CRAR means what? Capital to risk weighted asset ratio. This is a big name. Okay. So capital to risk weighted asset ratio. This is CRAR, or CAR is capital adequacy ratio. Both are same. Also Cook's ratio is also same. Okay. Next. Basel III was introduced in response to which of the major global event? Why was Basel III introduced? Check. Why was Basel III introduced? Due to Asian financial crisis 1997, dot-com bubble 2000, global financial crisis 2007-9, and European sovereign debt crisis 2010. Why do you think was it introduced? It was introduced in 2007 to 9. Let me see the answer but from your side. 2007 to 9. Lehman Brothers. Lehman. Okay. Crisis. Or we call it subprime crisis. Subprime. Housing loan. Subprime crisis. Okay. Housing loan crisis. The housing valuation was taken up and then it was collapsed. Similar situation could have arose in our country also, now also, but now the government has put a pressure. So you see in last 2-3 years or 4 years from COVID, you see the property prices, means plot prices, have not increased in that percentage. You see this. Okay. So global financial crisis, got it? Subprime, Lehman Brothers collapsed. Not only Lehman, many others collapsed. Do you know that was Tata AIG? There was a company called as AIG, American Insurance Group. Gone. Okay? AIG gone. This was gone. Similar crisis had happened in 2022 also, 21. 2021, this crisis after this COVID. In fact, 22 it was, yeah, 22. After COVID got over in 19 and 20, 21, yeah, 21 this crisis started. There was one more bank which was collapsing. Do you know? Credit Suisse. Credit Suisse. One of the biggest banks in the world. It was collapsing. But such crisis could have arose again. This time also this crisis could have arose in 20 and 22. But it was saved. Why? How? UBS purchased Credit Suisse. See, this was a major crisis. Credit Suisse is the same company. Do you know? Credit Suisse is the same company which said in January, February 2021, it said, there was an Adani crisis at that time. Remember Adani? Which Hindenburg report was there. That time Credit Suisse said, Adani bonds we are not accepting because Adani is a smaller company and very risky company for us. Risky, they told. Credit Suisse told, Adani is a risky company. And today what happened? They told the same in January and in August Credit Suisse collapsed. Who was risky? Adani was risky or Credit Suisse was risky? It's all political gimmick at that time. Forget it. But Credit Suisse collapsed. But it was purchased by UBS. Okay? So that was it. So global, forget, let's move on to this Basel 3. Global financial crisis happened in 2007-9, subprime crisis, Lehman Brothers crisis, and because of this, Basel 3 came in. Which of the following is a new liquidity standard introduced under Basel 3? New liquidity standard under Basel 3. Capital adequacy ratio, leverage ratio, LCR, liquidity coverage ratio, and debt to equity ratio. So see, there are two liquidity standards. There are two. I'm covering here, only one is given, that's why this one you have to type. Otherwise, there are two liquidity standards. What are these? Capital adequacy ratio. Okay, capital adequacy ratio. Then leverage ratio, LCR, and debt equity ratio. Remember, Basel 3 has four important ratios, very important ratios. One is this CAR, capital adequacy ratio. Second is this leverage ratio. This is second ratio which is important. Third is your LCR. And fourth one is there, that's called as NSFR, net stable funding ratio. Net stable funding ratio. Okay, these are the four ratios important for Basel 3. Okay, so what are the liquidity standards? Standard means what? What is the parameter on which you can base your bank? This is the right answer. CAR, capital adequacy ratio. All other ratios are supplementary to it, but important is CAR, or you can call it CRAR. Very important one. LCR is what? Okay, what is leverage? Leverage ratio means how much assets do you have, loans, in comparison to your capital. So we write it capital upon assets or assets upon capital. Anything is allowed. Depends on bank to bank. Some books write it assets upon capital. Some books write it capital upon assets. So both are okay as far as you understand what is going on. LCR means what? Net cash outflow. See, I'll write it over here. LCR, net cash outflow, or you can write it reverse. HQLA, high quality liquid assets, means basically government bonds, upon net cash outflow for 30 days. Cash outflow for 30 days. Okay. So this is your LCR. NSFR is what? Net stable funding ratio, means required, this all you are having it, required stable funding. I'll write just SF now. Stable funding upon available stable funding. Available SF. Okay. This is your NSFR. Four ratios are very much important in Basel. Very important. Okay. In Basel, four ratios are very important. CAR, LCR, NSFR, leverage. Okay. Let's move on. Next. The Basel III framework emphasizes on macro-prudential approach to regulation. What does this primarily focus on? Macro-prudential, macro, big picture. Macro, big picture. What does this focus on? The financial health of the individual banks, the stability of the financial system as a whole, minimizing the risk of default of the individual loans, maximizing the bank profitability. So, macro picture means what over here? There is one name to this. There is one name to this. Anyone knows the name? What is the name to this? Macro picture? There is a name. This name is called as systemic risk. Systemic. There are many names to this. Systemic. Or you can call it ripple effect. Ripple. Or you can call it Herstat. Herstat risk. Various names are there. But important one which is used is systemic risk. What is systemic risk? Failure of the entire banking system. Entire banking system. Financial system as a whole. This is the answer. Okay. The stability of the financial system as a whole, that is important. Individual bank is not important. The complete financial system is important. Okay. Why does this systemic risk arise in banking now? Do you know? It arises because the reason, why does it arise? It arises because each bank issues the debentures and these debentures are purchased by other banks. So if one bank fails, its debentures become zero. Value is zero. So other banks' capital gets affected. That's why this arises. Okay? So the answer is stability of the financial system. What is the primary objective of Pillar 3, market discipline of Basel framework? Primary objective of Pillar 3, to increase the capital requirement of the banks, to enhance the transparency, increase disclosure. Then next one. What is the answer, so? What is the answer for this? Provide supervisory bodies with greater oversight powers to regulate derivative markets. So the answer is very simple, isn't it? Increase the disclosure requirements. Disclosure, market, Pillar 3 is about disclosure, transparency, corporate governance. Okay? The ratio of banks tier 1 capital to average total consolidated assets. Just now I did it. Capital upon assets is known as capital buffer or counter-cyclical capital buffer or leverage or net funding ratio. So tier 1 capital, focus on tier 1 capital. Okay? Tier 1 capital. So tier 1 capital upon the assets, upon your total assets. Okay? What is that known as? Tier 1 upon assets. So that is known as your leverage. Leverage means that. Just now I did it. Assets upon capital or capital upon assets. One and the same thing. Okay? Even you calculate this CCB, capital conservation buffer. Okay, this can also be attached to this because CCB is also based on tier 1 only. CCCB is also based on tier 1 only. All these three are based on tier 1. Okay, all these three are based on tier 1, but the ratio means leverage. Okay. Which Basel 3 liquidity metric aims to identify significant sources of funding that could trigger liquidity problems and encourage diversification of funding sources? So which metric will give you this? Contractual mismatch maturity, concentration of funding, available unencumbered assets, and LCR by significant currency. So identify significant sources of funding that could trigger liquidity problems. Concentration of funding. Okay, concentration. If your funding is from single source, let it be dollar, let it be this, all these are in that only. LCR means if your funding is from single source, you are at a huge risk. Okay. Consider the following statements regarding NSFR and choose the correct ones. It requires banks to maintain stable funding ratio profile in relation to the on-balance sheet assets and activities. It helps banks to measure medium-term resilience up to 1 year. Third one is the minimum requirement of NSFR is 100%. So which is the correct one regarding NSFR? Think. 1, 2 and 3, all of them, all are correct. Okay. Now I told you I'll be taking one numerical also. See this numerical. This was asked in June 25. June 25. Okay, this just exam which is gone. See, what will be the 12-month USD forward rate if the spot rate of dollar is 74 rupees? And these details are given. Pay attention to this question. USD is given, Saudi Riyal and INR is given. Then rate of interest per annum is given. Per annum, kindly note. Because calculations will be there now. What will be the 12 month you want it, 12 month. USD forward rate. Now 12 month when you want it, all these rates are given for 12 month and it is for what, 12 months. So you'll take this part. You'll focus on this part, 12 month. Okay. So what is the formula? The formula is like this, 1 plus, okay, home currency rate. I will say 1 plus HR, home currency rate, upon 1 plus foreign currency rate, FR. That is equal to forward rate upon spot rate. 1 plus home currency rate upon 1 plus foreign currency rate equals to forward rate upon this spot rate. This formula is to be used. Now look at this. Home currency rate. What is given? Home currency is what? INR. See, rupees is home currency. So rate is given as 6.25%. Take it over here. Now change the percentage to decimals, isn't it? So it will be, this will become what? This will be 0.0625. See, divided by 100%. So 0.0625. Similarly, this will be what? 0.0225. Right? Now these rates are given for 12 months and you are asked also 12 months. So keep the same. Don't change anything. If the question is, they ask you for 6 months, then divide this by 2, whatever is given. Okay. So here, follow this now. 1 plus HR. So 1 plus, what is home currency rate? 0.0625 upon 1 plus forward rate, foreign rate, 0.0225 equals to forward upon what is spot? Spot is given 74. Now solve this. Solve this, everyone. Get the answer. What is the answer? Everyone give me the answers. $1.0625 upon 1.0625 upon 1.0225, right? Yeah. So the answer for this is 1.03911. So 1.03911 equals to F upon 74. So multiply this 74 now. Okay. Into 74. So the answer is 76.89. Are you getting this? See this. 76.89. Multiply this. So F becomes, multiply this, 74 into 1.03911. You'll get this answer, 76.89. This numerical was asked in the exam. Okay. So now, before going, everyone kindly join the Officer Pro batch immediately. Okay, it is just starting. Join this ASAP. See, go to Adda 24/7. Always go through the app. Download the app first and then purchase. So go through the app. See this. Officers Pro batch, English medium. Click on this. Ebooks, mock test, online live classes, recorded sessions, all are available. Okay. Plus you will be getting, remember, 81% discount right now. See this. Click on buy now. Put the code Y432. Y432. 80% discount plus 1% extra. And what do you get in the batch? You get ebooks, mock tests, live classes, recorded sessions, AI help, mentors over here, the teachers over here like me. We have more than almost 12-13 years experience in JAIIB CAIIB only. I myself am an ex-banker, worked in all the foreign banks, in all the departments, not only retail, trade, treasury, corporate finance. Okay, so all the mentors over here are very much knowledgeable. You will definitely get the right line for your studies. Okay, so don't miss. Chal, bye. And join this SF. The batch is just starting now. Huh?